Hello, the game has started. It's my opponent to go first. I have quite a balanced rack. I have the W as a scoring tile. I'm not seeing a bingo, certainly not a 7. There could be an 8, but I'm not optimistic. However, it is a balanced rack and far too good to change. I think wind is good as a 6-letter play. But this is quite a nice rack. If I played off just the W and the N, then the rack leave of Diner is quite good. Okay, so the A looks like it could be a useful floater. I've got the ward prefix. Is there a bingo through that? Well, not that I'm seeing. I have in drawn, but that's not a bingo. My N can go in front of the Y. So I could play win down here for 19 points, and this is quite a good rack leave, and I'm not providing very much for my opponent. I'm going with this. Well, I have centered. Fantastic. I was just about to comment how bingo-y this rack looked, but I do in fact have a bingo. Does it play? Well, it does in row J because of or and bid, but the board is so tight at the moment, anything is likely to disrupt that. So, has opponent killed my bingo? Bio takes a G and an S at the end. I have neither. Just checking my remaining tiles, and nothing goes after Bio. Centered doesn't play over the top of Yabba. Yabba only takes an S. So I think my opponent has scuppered me. Credent is an anagram of centered. Does that play? And it does. Wow. I was not expecting that to play at all. I was going through the motions, but there it is. Credent for 74. Bang! What a start. Okay, and although I've only got one vowel, this looks quite a nice rack because whiffed is good and it takes an S, and I have 2 S's. So I have whiffts in column 11 and also in row K. I don't think I have a bingo, but what about the E? Is stewfish good? I don't think so. What about anything else which sounds plausible? Well, not seeing anything. I'm not 100% sure on whiffed, but I'm certainly sure enough to try it. Wow, great response by opponent, 86 points. And there goes the first of the blanks. Opponent obstructs this E. The E he's provided is not a bingo floater. So I think there are no bingo possibilities here because there are no floating vowels. So I have whiffs for 40. Is there anywhere else better for it? Well, there might be. That's 40. That's 41. I am burning the second S because it gets me 2 extra points. What about playing this to the right? That's 43. 46. Good grief, I wasn't expecting that to score more, but it does. Can I do even better? No, I don't think I can. So whiffs for 46. And I only draw 1 vowel. If I'd retained 2 S's, it's possible that I wouldn't have drawn this E. However, this is quite a nice rack, and certainly 1 vowel a lot better than none. Wow! Back-to-back bingos from opponent. Fantastic start for him. So I now trail by 50. What can I do here? And wow, look at that. I nearly have Piezzo. If EZ was good, I would. Slightly tempting to play for that. Is there a way of surreptitiously playing for it? In other words, not drawing attention to it. Well, it would require my R to go in front of the I. No, I can't see a way of doing that. Gosh, I'm now being really obstructed from scoring well from this position. There are 3 available triple word squares, but it's very hard to reach them with only 1 vowel, and that's a shame since I've got such good scoring tiles. Now, is there anywhere fantastic for my big tiles? What about, do I have a play across here? Is Riz good, or is it an abbreviation? I think it's good. Yes, it is. Wow. I don't know why I had a moment of hesitation over that, but I did. And I have drawn another vowel. So I have Joseph, which doesn't play top or bottom. Great. Opponent getting just 27 points and struggling with junk. So I only trail by 6 and I'm on turn. I've got a lot of scoring tiles. I don't have to burn the J immediately. So I could play Hop or Hope. Definitely worth playing the E. 5 more points. 51 points. Can I do better than this? Do I have a play at the bottom? Joseph doesn't play. And I need to look around the board in case there are any spots I missed. And I very nearly missed the Riz spot. And I'm just wondering about playing this E. Vowels are definitely necessary when you've got big tiles. This is getting me 5 more points. I'm going with the points. Hope for 51. And I do draw a couple of vowels. So that's worked out okay. And this board is looking a little tight. Column 11 available for S bingos. And I have the final S, still 1 blank to come. And there are the floating T and S in whiffs. But the other floaters, U and V, S of Skidooed, are all highly constrained and not particularly useful. Wow, there goes the second blank and a great bingo for opponent, who goes back into the lead by 40 points. But look at this. Finally, I have a nice spot for my J. I've got Jow. Is there anything better which just scores more or retains a vowel? Well, there is Gins, but that's burning my S, and that is really useful now, given column 11, since there are no S's or blanks to come. And I am at least sticking a floating vowel in the open. And if I draw vowels, then this set of consonants is really bingo-y. So Jow for 54. I do draw 1 vowel. Do I have a bingo through the O? I don't think I do. Nothing beginning with U, despite the un prefix. But look at this, we're very close in score. So the game is certainly not over. In fact, still 30 tiles to come. Now this U looks nice. I could play Kern or Kurt through that, leaving a pretty good set, and also attracting opponent's attention to the bottom left of the board. He will surely be unable to resist this triple word square. Leaving my bingo lane alone. Opponent may well be inclined to leave bingo lanes alone himself, since he trails, but he doesn't trail by much. Supposing Kurt is blocked, what then? Well, I could play Wreck, but I don't like that. It doesn't score well. It blocks bingo lanes. And although I lead, I'd like to keep bingo lanes open because the rack I have feels very close to a bingo. Let me check the remaining vowels. 15 out of 37, so it's slightly vowel dry. So I'd like to hang on to the E if I can, even though there are 5 to come. So I have not identified an alternative spot for my C. Now I was thinking about Kurt, or Kern, only 14 points. Okay, well, that remains available, which is good. Opponent has not blocked any lanes. But has he provided... First of all, has he provided a bingo through the Y? I don't think so. So, I trail by 10, which is pretty much nothing. And I think Kern is better than rest. Let me look at what's to come. Wow, 3 T's, 2 N's. But ST goes together a lot better than SN, so I am going with this. What about playing just Ker, keeping the N? Tempting, but I am going with this. Looks pretty good. I have Testia. Does that go? I have... What do I have? I don't have sitters. Of course, I would have a million bingos if I'd played Kurt rather than Kern. So, what do I have? I have Testia. Testia doesn't play. I note, by the way, there is another bingo lane, row F, for bingos beginning with S. So, does Testia have an anagram? That is the question. It's not coming to mind. Wow. Big moment if there is a bingo here. Super high probability and a critical point in the game. So, what about a bingo beginning with V? Not seeing one. How about a bingo through the S of Skidooed? 11 minutes on my clock. So that could begin ES or just begin with the S. Not seeing it. Okay. Drent does not take anything. And this is a wretched rack to deal with because it is super bingo-y. Just need to consider the U, and I'm not seeing anything with that. This is really painful having chosen Kern rather than Kurt. I would have had entries, for example, and its anagrams. Well, I really am not seeing an anagram of Testia, and I'm not seeing anywhere to play Testia. So, how to break this rack up? I've got to keep right, so the most I should jettison is T and E. And that's really not going to score very much. £13 points, better than nothing. But opponent could get a 40-point play at the bottom of the board. Well, maybe that's a better thing to do. Maybe this will look more, will be more effective in limiting opponents' options for next turn. Et for 8. I'm only losing 5 points, but I am taking out a super hot spot. M and F, just looking at the remaining tiles, could go underneath this E. I'm going with this. That looks a lot better. Do I have anything? Erotism Trisome, Mortise. Mortise plays in column 11. Do I have a play through the S in case column 11 is blocked? I think I have Vomiters in row B. Agent nouns, not always reliable, but I think Vomiters is good. So erotisms, trisomes, mortises. I'm not sure there is a playable bingo through this S. And I don't have anything beginning with S to hook Tor. Now, plays in column 11 don't have to end with S. They can end SE, which is what Mortise does. I trail by 20, so opponent may be inclined to block 11. He may infer that I held a good set of tiles, having played just ET. But there is still the triple word square bottom left to lure him away from my bingo lanes, and I don't think he's going to block Vomiters as well as Mortise. Are there any other lanes I need to consider? How about the U of Uvia? Well, I'm not seeing anything through that. ZE takes nothing in front, so the K isn't a floater. V something E is possible, but unlikely and very difficult to spot. I'm not seeing anything onto the Y, or ending Y something N. Certainly Mortise is my preference. However, that does take an A in front, and there are 3 A's to come. Opponent taking a while on this move. Riz takes an A after it. That might be a scoring spot later in the game. Still 16 tiles to come. Now let me methodically go through these bingos for column 11. I've considered Mortise. Moister doesn't play. Erotism doesn't play. And Trisome doesn't play. Ois is good. But the S is the only tile I've got which hooks Yabba and Oi, so I don't have a play hooking both. Stormies isn't good. I trail by 20. I should get 70 odd for Mortise, possibly 80. So we could be very close after the next couple of moves, and the bag will be a lot emptier. Drent does not take an S after it. Well, here we go. Opponent has played Mox of a 36. Mortise remains available. However, he's provided access to a triple word square in the top row. Do I have a bingo through that M? No, I don't think I do. So I don't see anything better than Mortise. For 85. Wow. Bang. And well, not a good rack, but it's a random 7 tiles, so no surprise really. However, look at the remaining tiles. They look pretty bingo-y. And my lead is only 30 points. And my lead has now vanished. So where can I play my cue? There are only 2 tiles in the bag. I've got Chin. Onto the N of Kern. Leaving double G-I-L-T. Where else can my cue play? Still one U to come, but I'm really reluctant to hang on to the Q. I could play Chi and me, but there's an N to come, so that can't be best. I'm not seeing any other candidate plays. Slightly annoying to be stuck with two Gs. So is there really nowhere else for just QI? I am not good. 7 minutes on my clock, so plenty of time. Well, there is the Q next to the I of suicidal. I think I prefer Chin. It stops opponents scoring bottom left with the F or the P. But this empties the bag. I think I'll play Chi, which doesn't empty the bag, so opponent can't plan his out. Chi for 11. I draw an L. But I have two vowels, which is actually quite useful, and I wouldn't necessarily have had that after Chin. I have glint bottom left. I don't have anything beginning AM. What about a play in column 12? Well, no E for going after the R, so anything ends after the O. Wow, I don't have anything, just the I, and I don't have any I plays. This is really tough. This is the final rack I'll have, and I'm going to struggle to score with it. And I only lead by 6 points, so I'm not feeling great about the situation I'm in. What about a play through this O? Just looking at AM to see if I have a triple word play, and I don't. I have giglot through the O. 18 points. That's been blocked, but I've got glint, and opponent has created a new opening in row A. Opponent leads by 20 odd points, which is a lot, and he's drawn well. So can he go out in 2 spots? So he's got pre, that plays in column 10, so he's got 1 out. He's got Peter through the T. Well, those both, it looks like I could block both of those. I don't think I'm going to win this game. I think it's more a case of minimizing the losing spread now. So, opponent's got pre and Peter, and I've got nothing which goes in front of the R. And I don't think I can block both because I've got nothing which goes after ON. Fawn takes an A, I don't have one. Yeah, I just don't think I can block both of those plays. Well, I possibly a play onto the R would. But I'm not even sure I have one of those. So, what can I do? Maybe I just need to play glint for 18 points. I don't think there's anything better than that I can see. Yeah, glint for 18. Look at this, just 6 points between us going into the final move of the game. Epic battle. And the final score, 445 for me, 475 for my opponent, a winning margin of 30 points. So well done to my opponent. Let's see what I missed. What an exciting game. So close all the way through. Now, it was my opponent to go first, and he played Yabba. Phew, no missed bingo here. And I played win for 19, keeping rend. I could have got 11 more points, keeping n, but rend is 11 points better than n. N is probably 0, or very close to 0, and rend, I would say, maybe pushing 8 or 9, so that would make the moves quite similar, in which case I prefer the move with the better rack leave, and I think strategically, well, rewind wouldn't actually give terribly much away, so there's not that much difference between those moves, I think. Now, opponent's rack, no bingo, plays Oi, and I have Credent, which I nearly missed, but didn't, and opponent has the first blank, and an absolutely fantastic spot here of Skidooed, a double-double, to move him into the lead. Whiffs, that was my play for 46. And absolutely fantastic spot. It's a common word, but it's a tricky one to spot. Sui is an unusual prefix. Now, I trail by 50, but I have Riz for 65, which took me a while to spot. Horrible rack for opponent, except he's drawn the second blank. Plays Uvea. And now I have Hope for 51. Wow, and I could have played the S for 6 more points. Close to being desirable, except for the fact that the S is worth slightly more than that, and there's an S bingo lane in column 11. Now, I lead by 40, opponent's turn, and a great spot here of Aren't-like. But I'm able to come back with Zhao to go back into the lead, but not by much. Clunky rack for opponent, nice play of Bevy. And what do I do here? J13, Crier through the Y. I play Kern for 14, keeping Rest, which is a really good 4-letter set. So I only drop 6 points. Is Rest 6 points better than NST? Yes, it is. NST is good, must be worth about 12 or 13. But Rest, I would say, is between 20 and 25. So definitely 6 points better. Opponent's rack plays Drent. Now, this is the moment of truth. All I could see was Testia. And there is no bingo. Well, a shame in some respects, but I'm grateful that I didn't miss one. And I like my play because my rack leave is amazing. Now, I only trail by 20. Opponent took a while before playing Moxa, possibly concerned about opening row A. And now I have Mortize for 85. What are the other options? Roomiest through this O. Isometry onto the Y, I didn't see that. And anagrams of Roomiest. Gosh, and I'm just thinking I didn't properly... Well, I didn't actually have any A's, so I didn't miss any amortize spots. Opponent plays a go, and this is the critical moment. I only trail by 5. I played just the Q to leave 1 in the bag. Was that best? Look at this. I could have played Giglot at this point, keeping QI. Wow. Would that have been the play? There it is, Giglot for 18. Would that have been the play? I don't think keeping GIQT would be. However, even with QI, I'm drawing 2 tiles from the bag. I'm not remotely going to be going out in 1. But look at that, Giglot takes out this really hot column 12 spot. I think that would have been the play. I didn't see it right at this moment. So I play Chi. Opponent plays Fawn, and now I trail by 24. Wow. Gillying, where's that? H13. Gosh, look at that, through Y and N. What a word. I don't think it would have been enough. 459, I'd have trailed by 9, and opponent would have gone out, but it would have been a smaller losing spread. Anyway, I played Glint. An opponent, A3, could have played Ampere. Wow. Huge miss by my opponent at the end there. Very remiss. Now, that was the end of the game, and it was an absolutely epic game. Obviously, always disappointing to lose. However, Scrabble is the beautiful game, and that was a classic battle, neck and neck, and really interesting racks to deal with all the way through. And a particularly chewy rack at the end. Should I have played Chi, or would Giglot have given me some hope, or possibly some other word? Anyway, many congratulations to my opponent on his victory, and thanks to him for a great battle. I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.